The team for the most recently completed decade was announced yesterday by the National Football League. And how about Tom Brady? You know, I've said in the past, and this was an idea that MDS first tripped over, that Tom Brady could be in the Hall of Fame two different times, pre-2008, post-2008. And Tom Brady making it on to two all-decade teams, one of the unanimous selections for the decade of the 2010s. Not a surprise. He's the first quarterback to make two all-decade teams, and only 29 players have ever done that, where they've made the all-decade team twice.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just, put it on his tab. Another accomplishment for Tom Brady. But, just it speaks to the guy. Again, Tom Brady, yes, he did. He had two Hall of Fame careers. And what I can't, I can't give him enough credit for. I really can't. Early on in this decade, it wasn't stellar. It wasn't. It went to the point where, I know I was vocal about it. I got New England people that hate me then, where I was going, man, Brady in 2012, 2013, it wasn't looking good. And that's why they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo. But a credit to him he changed his throwing techniques. He obviously changed his lifestyle off the field as far as his eating, and that seemed when that whole thing started to go up, the TB12 process. And, Tom Brady, I mean, just unbelievable how consistent he's played at such a great high level.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And really, if they were ever going to waive the 5-year waiting period for anyone, it would be for him. I mean, this guy is going to be in the Hall of Fame, first ballot without question, unanimous, one of the best players, if not the very best player in NFL history. There were 8 total unanimous selections on this decade's all-decade team. Tom Brady, Adrian Peterson, Joe Thomas, Marshall Yanda, J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Justin Tucker. None of those are a surprise, Chris. All of those guys are deserving not only to be on the all-decade team, but to be unanimous selections.
Yeah, unanimous selections, and that list right there, that's unanimous first. They're first ballot Hall of Famers to me too. That group. So yeah, I'm not shocked. I mean, J.J. Watt and Aaron Donald are as good as interior D linemen as we've ever seen. Marshall Yanda and Joe Thomas are best, guards and tackles that are as good as they've gotten in this era. Adrian Peterson's one of the 3 best running backs all time. We know Von Miller, how special he is. So, yeah, that's a special group there. That's a gold jacket group to me. So, I didn't have too many problems with the list overall. I know some people were, surprised at the Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, right? That's the one thing I saw on social media. Oh, Drew Brees got screwed over again. You're crazy. Aaron Rodgers is the best player of the decade. I don't know what anybody's talking about. I mean, and first of all,
shocker. I'm stunned.
Yeah,
I'm stunned that you would say that. I'm stunned.
I keep it real.
Saw more Russell Wilson. I saw more Russell Wilson better than Aaron Rodgers for the decade.
That's what I don't. Nobody even would say Russell Wilson was a top 3 quarterback until last year, but now they want him on the all-decade team. People talk out of both sides of their mouth. A lot of these people who said that, I know, I saw that. I want to go, you didn't even think Russell Wilson was good 3 years ago, but now you're going to say he's the all-decade quarterback? Aaron Rodgers won 2 MVPs. He easily could have won 3 and 4. I mean, he came in second, I believe, 2 or 3 times in the decade. He's been to 4 NFC championship games. He had one of the greatest Super Bowl performances we've ever seen in this decade. He was a champion in this decade. He can't help that his tight end couldn't catch a onside kick against Seattle, or he would have been in another Super Bowl. I mean, to me, it's just that's not even a debate whether Aaron Rodgers should have been on there. And I know I love Aaron Rodgers, but I keep it real. If I didn't think he deserved to be, I would. I don't think he's the best quarterback in football anymore. I've come off that. I love him, but he's not the best right now.
Think about how great the quarterback position has been in the NFC over the past decade when Drew Brees and Russell Wilson don't make it. Right? 2 guys who are both going to be in the Hall of Fame. Both are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers, and they don't make the all-decade team. That just shows you how much competition there is at the quarterback position right now in the National Football League. And we still are in this golden age where you've got this nucleus of older quarterbacks who are still chugging along, and this group of great young quarterbacks who will be dominant on this decade's all-decade team, Patrick Mahomes, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, look, I agree with you. Ultimately, it should have been Aaron Rodgers, but I was surprised how much pushback was out there for Russell Wilson as a potential alternative. There really was, and you know what? I kind of like it when they screw this up because it gives us something to sink our teeth into.
Sure.
The only thing that jumped out at me from the all-decade team, they have Tyree as a punt returner. How many punts has he really returned?
You're right. He only had that little 2-year period, I want to say, like 2016, 2017, maybe in the 2018 where he did it a little bit more. But, I guess they're looking at it nonetheless. He's the greatest weapon we've seen of the decade. And they couldn't put him on the list of receivers because the list of receivers is insane in the membrane with Antonio Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson, and Julio Jones. I mean, that's a freak show, respectfully, and those are all first ballot Hall of Famers. So, yeah, I'm with you, but who else do you put in there, I guess, would be the big thing. I don't know if they needed 2 kick returners and punt returners. You're right. They probably could have just had Devin Hester as the kick returner and Darren Sproles as the one punt returner.
One thing they didn't do this time, this was something MDS noticed yesterday, they didn't have first team and second team. They just named the team. And obviously, the people who made it unanimously, they are cut above the others. But when you don't have first team and second team, that could make it harder to make cases for potential Hall of Famers. Because if you say the guy's a first team all-decade selection, more likely to get in. Second team, a little bit harder. No team designated. You've got that element that's now taken out of the mix, Chris.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's another notch, people, or another pelt on the horse that guys can say, as far as their case, stating their case for the Hall of Fame, to go, look, I made, second team all decade, once or twice, whatever it may be, but that is all gone. But, again, I kind of like it this way. I do. I think expanding the team and making it, just one team makes more sense to me than anything else. I have one other issue, I'll say, if I'm going to be totally transparent here, and I can't help myself. I don't like Patrick Peterson on the team. I'm sorry. Again, I have a hard time swallowing that one. I know Patrick Peterson's play has been worthy of it, but Patrick Peterson got suspended for 8 football games. It got reduced to 6 for PED usage, and then got caught trying to cover up the PED usage. So that's one guy that, me, Mike, I have a hard time with that kind of crap. You cheated, you broke the law, you did a lot of different things there that I don't like, let alone setting a bad example for young kids. I would have put Aqib Talib over Patrick Peterson. I'm sick of being in this era of glorifying cheaters. I'm sick of it. It's bothering me. In all sports and stuff like this, like, oh, you cheated? Hey, you're on the all-decade team. Well, I don't know. He might have been cheating his whole career, so maybe he's not as good as we know. I don't know.
And it's not the issue of glorifying cheaters. It's this refusal by fans
to recognize
and the media to properly chastise and downgrade the achievements of those who have tested positive for PEDs. And in Peterson's case, it was the combination of the positive test and the detection of a masking agent, which made it a 6-game suspension last year. How long was he successfully masking?
That's what I mean,
for the failure of the masking agent, we wouldn't have known. He was using it, and he was using something else to cover up that he was using it. And maybe for a period of multiple years, he was getting away with it, but finally the testing caught up with the substance. That's usually what happens. The testing will catch up with you. That's why you need to stay a step ahead of it, and that's where he failed. How long was he cheating?
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
It's not we're glorifying it. It's that there isn't enough outrage. There isn't enough. It's so weird how fans get upset with baseball players who cheat, and when football players do, the attitude is, well, how the hell else do we expect them to show up and play every week?
Yeah, they're capable. They are. I mean, they don't need to do PEDs for a lot of these. A lot of these guys are in the NFL because they have a DNA structure that's freaky or gifted that way. Half the guys in football are part caveman and Neanderthal. So they're built to play football. If you saw a lot of these moms and dads out there, like you've already heard me say, I mean, if it ain't for Barbara Simms, the big F for my dad's mom, I mean, there's no way I play in the NFL or Big Phil plays in the NFL. I mean, I've said before, Grandma Simms, she had some hands and could have played middle linebacker in football. She was 5'11", big square shoulders, and she'd beat you up. So, A lot of these guys can handle. But yes, I have issues with that. I do. We fail to recognize that at times, and we just kind of let it slide by. And I don't like that. And I don't mean to sit here and take personal shots, but it bothers me as a competitor, and it bothers me as a human.
Let me go back down a rabbit hole then. And it's not like I need to entice you down that rabbit hole. We already talked about Tom Brady. We talked about how early in the decade he wasn't performing up to the standard we had seen in the prior decade. That was your opinion. And look, it was borne out by the fact that they went 10 years between Super Bowl wins. And we did see after the on to Cincinnati game in 2014, something clicked, something happened. Do you believe that he should have been impacted in any way by the Deflategate situation?
Well, I don't. I'm not going to say, all right, so there's one thing here. Again, I don't like it. And do I think people gloss over this subject too easily? I do. Yes. It's the negative for Tom Brady for me. If I ever have one negative thing to say about him, it will always be that, where I just go, damn, I don't get it. And yes, of course, I think he's guilty. But the other thing where I'll say where I can defend Tom Brady in a lot of ways is go, okay, he got, they got busted for the Deflategate, but then they went and played in Super Bowl 49, and we know the balls were checked, properly for that game against the Seattle Seahawks. And he threw lasers and missiles all over the field and played as good as you could possibly play against one of the best defenses we saw of the decade. So to me, I can swallow that one a little bit more, especially with the results that we saw after that. But it does bother me, yes. And, to take the air out of the balls, which most coaches in football would tell you too, there was a reason a lot of people thought New England didn't fumble at home in New England and had other issues like that. It's easier to catch the football. So, yeah, that's certainly a part of the discussion. But, I'm not going to put Brady and Patrick Peterson's camp there because to me, PED usage and going down that road is a little more severe than, taking the air out of the footballs, which I still don't love and is still cheating in some ways.
And look, you know where I stand on this. I continue to believe the evidence was inconclusive that there was cheating on that day. Now, that doesn't answer all the questions that emerged during the investigation, but for that day, the AFC Championship game in early 2015, I believe the evidence at best was inconclusive that there was any type of shenanigans with the air in the footballs. One more point before we go. MDS and I have been, I've been multitasking. I got a business to run, copy, paste, snarky comments, so I'm trying to do both at once. I posed the question to my writing staff as to whether or not we are barking up the wrong tree by suggesting Tyreek Hill should not be the all-decade punt returner with 85 total punts in the decade. MDS tells me that Tyreek Hill ranks 25th in total punt return yards for the decade, and that Devin Hester had more than twice as many punt return yards as Tyreek Hill and a higher yards per punt return average, yet Hill is the all-decade punt returner instead of Devin Hester. That makes no sense, and that just feels like somebody had an agenda to wedge Tyreek Hill onto this team some way, somehow, even if he otherwise didn't fit in the category where they put him.
I think that great work by MDS. You the man, big guy. But yes, I think that's exactly what I said. I think somebody just looked at it and said, man, this guy's such a great weapon, and he's been such a game changer. We need to just get him on the team. And that's not right either. I don't like that. Yeah, you're taking away other people's spots there. He's an awesome player. Well, he's certainly as good as we've seen, but I don't know if he deserved a spot on the all-decade team.
I mean, look at it this way. Devin Hester at some point is going to be considered for the Hall of Fame, and it's not going to be easy for him to get in because special teamers have a hard time getting in. If he's the all-decade kick returner and punt returner, stronger argument to get the guy into the Hall of Fame, right? So
Definitely.
He deserved it. I don't care that they needed to find a spot to stick Tyreek Hill. They crammed a square peg into a round hole. It should have been Devin Hester, not Tyreek Hill. All right, MDS is going to be writing that up for ProFootballTalk.com. We've accomplished something here this morning. We found something to complain about in the all-decade team, and we'll have another copy-paste snarky comment post at PFT on that subject. Although there's really no copy-paste or snarky comment. This is our own idea. A large percentage of what we write is our own idea. So I wish you would shut up with copy-paste and snarky comment.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.